All right. Hey, team. It's so good to see your faces. I am Noelle Cruz, Presidential Diamond, and I am so excited to be here with you tonight. We just got back from an amazing leadership retreat in Tennessee with our Ambassador Diamond leaders, Chad and Jeree Canneller, and I cannot wait to just share a little bit more about that experience with you guys tonight. So before we jump into that, I just wanted to remind you guys on the 24th. Hold on. I thought I had it in my head and now I'm totally questioning myself. 24th, 23rd, 24th, I was right, at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central. We are going to have the last of our summer camp series. So it's going to be the September summer camp. And this is going to be a virtual event. Since the world was closed down because of COVID this year, the company has been doing virtual events. And you guys, these have been absolutely phenomenal. You're going to have your top money earners talking to you about money mindset, compensation, recruiting, all of the things that you need to know to run your business well. So that's going to be great. So if you don't have your ticket for that yet, you can get that. Go to your eSuite, go to live events, or just look at your home screen and the information will be there and you'll be able to get your ticket. I think it's like $10 or $15 for like the special one where you get a Zoom with Mark and Cindy. And you can actually get a 45-day trial of Impact TV, which is basically because Mark Pentecost doesn't have enough things going on. You know, he's got his own island and he's got his own jet. Now he has his own TV station. But the cool thing about Impact TV is that when you are a subscriber, you are going to get all this great content, again, from our top leaders and just people who are going to bring you value. But you can get a 45-day free trial and you're going to want Impact TV to watch the summer series. So make sure that you get signed up for that. And if you have people that are local to you or within a few hours, get together and host a watch party. I know that we're going to be doing that here in Michigan. We are going to be getting together and we always do potluck style, you guys. Everybody brings a dish to pass and we just like veg and bring your comfy blanket and bring your journal and get ready to take notes. And that's how we do it here. So hopefully you guys can do the same thing in your local town and you can get together and you can do this event together even though we can't physically be together. Okay. So I am really, really excited just to share with you guys. One more plug, you guys, I have to mention this. If you're not on the KPI bandwagon yet, start doing that. I know that for those of you who have started doing that on a daily basis, you're already starting to see your business momentum pick up. And so just start doing that. If you have questions about that, reach out to your diamond leader. They can get you hooked up to some accountability, get you started on that because it's really, truly going to make a huge difference for your business. So we're going to hear from some amazing ladies tonight who were at this retreat with me this last weekend. And if you guys can turn on your cameras so we can actually see your faces when we're talking to you, that would be amazing because I know that I like to talk to faces instead of like blank screens. That's just my personal preference. But you guys, I'm going to bring on Kristen Summers first. She is fairly new in the company and I'm excited for her to just share a little bit about what she learned this weekend. So Kristen, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Okay, so share with everybody who you are and where you're from and how long you've been in the business.
Okay, so I'm Kristen Summers, and I live in Homer, Michigan. Sorry, and I have been in the business for 4 months now. I am Ruby,
Awesome.
and
So tell us, what was your biggest takeaway about the retreat? What
my
were you
biggest takeaway,
going into it, and then what was the biggest thing you took away?
I really wasn't sure what to suspect when I like going there, because at first I didn't know if I was actually going to go because I have a fractured foot, and just the welcoming arms. And that when we got there and actually seeing the bear also, that was awesome, but not really. But just listening to everybody's stories and how far they have come, and the sessions on Friday were amazing. Like just listening to everybody like talk about their feelings and just getting all of our crying out and stuff off our shoulders. That just was amazing.
Good. Awesome. Well, good. Well, I'm so excited that you were there. And I know that that was your first of many events. So I'm just so proud of you for showing up with your fractured foot and all. You could barely walk. And you guys, she's hobbling around the cabin with her crutches, and she just made it happen.
I'm
So
steps.
that's awesome. Well, good. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us. Okay, you guys, I'm going to pop over to Dakota Case. Dakota is actually Kristen's sponsor. So, hey, girl, how are you?
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so tell everyone who you are and where you're from and how long you've been in the business.
First off, don't mind my homeless bun. I have not brushed my hair at all today, so
You look
totally
all
don't mind
glamorous
that.
to me, so I don't know what everybody else is thinking, but I think you look glamorous.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So I'm Dakota. I've been in the business going on 2 years now. In November is going to be my second year, which is totally crazy to me. It feels like I've been in the business so much longer. So the thing that I really took back from the retreat, I mean, I don't even know where to start. I just took back so much from it. I think the thing that really stood out to me the most probably was hearing everybody's stories and hearing where they came from, where they are now. It was just such an inspiration. I used to think all of these top leaders, I used to think, oh my gosh, like I could never get to where they are. Like they have to be doing something special. They're completely different than I am. And just hearing all of their stories, they're the exact same thing. I mean, everybody starts from somewhere and ends up somewhere. So I thought that was pretty awesome to hear everybody's stories.
And going into this, so this was, how many events have you been to? I know that conference, and you just said like you're coming up on 2 years, but conference was your first like big event, right?
Yeah, conference was such a game changer for me. I actually promoted Ruby, my very first promotion at conference. And that, you guys, is literally when it all changed for me, as I just kept going up and up and up right after conference.
Why do you think that conference was such a game changer for you?
I just think like showing up, getting to an event, it actually made it seem real to me. When I first joined the business, I didn't really take it seriously like I should have. And then when I went to conference, I was like, okay, like this is it. This is what I want to do. This is awesome. Being around all of those people that share the same mindset as you do, it just made me, it really made me want to plug into this and start doing this.
So knowing that you just went to conference and your business just took off, you went Ruby, Emerald, Diamond, how important would you say are even these virtual events that we are hosting right now?
I mean, basically any event, if you can, just plug yourself in. I mean, events, they literally change it for me because it makes it seem so much more real to me. And now that this is something that I'm doing full time, I just take it so much more seriously. And it's just kind of like, I think of it like if you were to have a job and you were like, your boss says, okay, we're going to have like a morning meeting. You need to show up. I'm just going to treat it like a job and I'm going to show up to these meetings.
Awesome. Well, was there any one story that stood out to you? Because I know, like, I think everybody's going to say, like, the story's changed my life. Like, was there anybody's story in particular that really stood out to you that you remember?
Oh my gosh. One that really stood out to me was probably Bubba's that he talked about, because he's a guy, and a lot of people know this business as women running it and not really the guys. So that's one of the things that stood out to me. And then I can't remember her name. Maybe you know her name, the one that talked about all of the cancer that was happening.
Oh my gosh, she's not on my team, but yeah.
You know who I'm talking about, though.
I know who you're talking about. And somebody else, if anybody else knows her name, there were like 50 people there, you guys.
Yeah, there is but anyways, so this girl, you guys, literally her whole entire family was like being diagnosed with cancer. It was crazy. Like her son ended up with cancer. I think she said something about like her mother-in-law,
her sister, her husband. Sister.
Yeah, so everybody was literally like Tracy, right? Kristen, you just said her name was Tracy. Yeah. Or were you saying? Yeah, anyway, so she basically had like a lot of cancer going on in her family. Yeah. And
yes, I think it's Tracy. She's the one that she was helping me the whole weekend carry stuff and everything. I believe it's Tracy.
Okay. Yeah. So, anyway, so she was like her whole entire family was pretty much like diagnosed with cancer. And that really spoke out to me because it's like she is going through so much, but she is not letting that get in the way of her business and not letting that get in the way of her basically showing up and making this happen because she knows that she needs this. And so I think that's really a lot of the times there's a lot of like excuses going on. And I think that her story really inspired me because it's like your excuse is nowhere near compared to, you know, some of the things that people go through.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that really stuck out to me for sure.
That's so good. Well, thank you for sharing. It was so good to have you there.
Yes.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, you guys, I just want to give a quick shout out. We had 2 ladies on my team who actually couldn't make it, Jessica Looker and Sandy Fountain. You guys, they both earned their way there and weren't able to make it to the retreat, but I just wanted to honor them and let you guys know that they actually did make it there. But we're super, super disappointed that they couldn't be there. So, okay. So we're going to keep talking to some ladies who are on my team, but I actually wanted to pull in. So I had a couple of ladies that I met there this weekend that just like really just filled my spirit. So I wanted to bring a couple of special guests on. So Ashley Philpott, hey girl, how are you? Okay, I'm going to unmute you. We're going to talk to you really quick. So can you just share, hold on, let me make sure you're unmuted.
All right, I'm unmuted.
Okay, awesome. So, okay, can you just tell everyone who you are and how you found the business and how long you've been in, just your little short story?
All right, so my little short story is going to take about like 4 minutes, maybe. But so I've been with the business technically since 2015. I was underneath a girl, but before that, I actually was a product tester, and I did our product for 4 years. And the girl that I bought her products from never once asked me if I wanted to be on her team. So just think, 4 years, I would have made her a lot of money, okay? But I ended up, God obviously knew she was not supposed to be my team leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
So another girl, she was a parachute rigger. I was also in the Army. She kept inboxing me. And I was like, okay, well, our uplines, Chad and Jeree, I was in the Army with Chad. We were both parachute riggers. So I was like, well, okay, she's under him. I could totally do this team. So I joined. Well, that was back in the day when we had these huge bonuses. And as soon as she promoted to double diamond and her husband promoted to diamond, she bounced. So my entire team went dead. I mean, because I had built them completely up and I was boxed in for diamond within a month. I made my ruby in less than 2 weeks, and that was on the old scale. So super hard.
So for those of you who don't know what the old ruby looks like, instead of it being 3 distributors, it was 5.
Yes. And then more volume too, I believe. It was like a lot more volume. But it was super hard. So I kept working, and then I would get an LC here, get a DT there, and they would fall off. And I would keep trying to build and build and build, and it just wouldn't work. Well, when my uplines left, now I was directly under Jeree. So I kept coming back, and I just, it wouldn't stick. So I decided, okay, well, I'm going to take the back burner for a little bit. I'm going to finish my college degree. So I finished my college degree in criminal justice because I was going to be a police officer. Well, that fell through. So I started noticing that the It Works products had changed. Commissions had changed. The ranking systems had changed. Everything had changed. And I was talking to my sideline sister at the time, who now was on her own because she had left the company and then came back. Some of you might know her. Her name's Kara.
Kara Morris, you guys.
Yep, Kara Morris. She's under Laurel.
You don't need to know her.
Yeah. So when I asked her about the products and stuff, come to find out, I had forgotten to pay my $30 re-up fee. So now I had to start over completely fresh, which was okay, because all my other DTs were dead anyways. So now I'm under Kara, and now I'm under Laurel, which is a completely different team. We pray together. It's all about leadership. It's not about the bonuses or, getting rich quick. It's just a totally different life. And it just goes to show you that all those people that I worked with before, a couple of them came back to my team. Customers that I had 5 years ago have come back to be customers with me again, because they do believe in the products and they're excited to try the newer products. So it just goes to show you that no matter how hard you try and how hard you keep pushing, people are going to fall off, and they're going to fall off for a reason. They're not meant to be there. And that's okay. So you just got to keep working at it and just keep passing, man. You got to keep going. So now I'm a Ruby. I'm structured for Emerald. So hopefully I'll make my Emerald next month. That's the goal. So it's really good. But the retreat was something else, because I didn't know I was going to go on the retreat. But I had double promoted in August. And Chad messaged me and he's like, "Hey, I see you." He's like, you made this, or you made executive in the middle of August, and now you just made Ruby. I got a spot available and I want you to be there. So that was super exciting to go and meet, old faces and meet tons of new faces that all I saw was, through Facebook and our Zooms. And so it was really great.
That's awesome. So what was one thing that just really stood out to you besides the culture, I'm sure?
Oh man. Well, the bears were crazy. That was one thing.
You guys, we literally saw like 2 bears every night we were there. And actually, it's on my Facebook, there's a video. One was like the day we got there, and it was actually Kristen and Kelsey and Dakota were sitting in their car. And I went out there and I was like, "What are you doing? Get out of your car." They're like, "We're scared." And I was like, "Come in, we're nice. Like, there's nothing to be scared of." And they were like, "No, there's a bear." And I was like, "Oh." And it was there, like, literally, like, the guys are just out there grilling, and it was just right there on the other side of the road, like 20 feet away from them. I mean, like, the bears were legit.
I think one thing that stood out was that I didn't know how many people, like for instance, like Jess, I didn't know that she had left and tried all these different companies, and then she came back and then just rocked it, and then just like blew it out of the water. And I didn't know that, like, is it Melissa? Is that her name? Melissa.
Are you
I didn't know.
Mary Lisa?
Yeah, Mary Lisa.
Okay,
like,
Melissa wasn't there. Mary Lisa was there.
Okay, yeah. So her, and I think she's on Jess's team too. Like, they all were like paid like way down on the bottom of the scale, and then when they went to conference, they're just like, no, we're gonna rock it. And then they came back and rocked it. That just goes to show you, when you put your mind to something, anything is possible.
Yeah.
So that really stood out for me, because I had tried so many times, just couldn't do it, and I was just like, I just didn't try hard enough. So it's definitely capable to do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. It was so good to meet you. And your story just really resonated with me.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, girl. Okay, you guys. I'm actually gonna, Megan, are you good, or do you want to wait a minute? Because
it doesn't matter to me.
Okay, I know you got a baby there. I got a bunch of mamas around here, and I'm like trying to call them, but it's like good for the babies are sleeping. So okay. Hi. Can you tell everyone who you are and where you're from and how long you've been in the business?
My name is Megan. I'm from Texas, but I just moved back to Texas. I was in the Virgin Islands for the last 5 years. So I lived in the Caribbean. That's where I joined. And I joined in January of this year, when this little tiny human here was, she had just turned 6 months old, and I was debating on whether going back to work or not. And this came up. So here I am.
That's amazing. So, okay, tell me about your experience with the business, with events, and then really like what your thoughts were going into this retreat, and then what you took out of it.
Okay, so this was actually my first face-to-face event retreat. This retreat was. I love the events. I didn't get to make it to conference. It was literally like 3 weeks after I joined, and I tried so hard to get there. You waving? That's funny. Tried so hard to get there, but wasn't able to make it. So I thrive on acts of service. That's my love language. So events to me are like numero uno for anybody and anything. But my biggest like thing about this business is like it has given me not just the freedom, but the confidence to do so many things, like just to be like, to get myself back.
Like, I'm sure a lot of y'all have been pregnant or you have little ones, and like you kind of lose yourself in all of that. So it gave me confidence to get myself back. It gave me the confidence and the resource to leave a very toxic situation. That's why we're back here in Texas. So if I wouldn't have had that, I would have probably been 15 years down the road in some kind of therapy session, like, okay, well, I don't know why this is happening to me. But instead, I had the knowledge and the wherewithal and the camaraderie to be like, look, this is what's going on. I need to know what I need to do to help me out of it. And so I did. I put my head down. I worked hard. I hit Ruby after 3 months, and I hit Emerald after 5 months. I'm on my way to Diamond now. And yeah, so this retreat was absolutely amazing. I love Tennessee. That's one of my most favorite places in the world to go. So when they told me it was in Tennessee and I actually earned a spot and they were like, "Can you make it?" I'm like, "I'm there." And it was about a 13-hour drive. Thank you so much. Yeah, like it's almost completely gone away. But it was almost a 13-hour drive, and we had so much fun on the drive. Like, I actually rode with somebody I didn't know that's on Chad and Jerry's direct downline. So that was a lot of fun. And then I got to meet a lot of new people. One of my biggest takeaways is just like the heart that everybody has. Like, it was quite amazing to, like, I don't know if y'all have ever had this thought or whatever, but to go into a place with a bunch of people that you were seemingly intimidated by and always think that you were going to be intimidated by them, and to find out that they were truly just like real, hold on, sweets, real people, and just like with amazing stories, like that came from, next to nowhere, or from here or from there, and then just literally just put their head down and just did the dang thing. Like, it was so cool to know that we can fall down, that we can, cry, that we can laugh, that we can ask for help, and it's never going to be taken in a way that, oh, you should have already known this. It's always going to be received with open arms, and that was my biggest takeaway from it.
That's so good. I have to tell you guys, I mean, this was 2 conferences ago. I had a gal on my team who showed up, and she showed up literally just to see if we were real people. And that might sound funny to you, but she'd never met anybody local. She knew that we had Zooms, and she would see people's face on Zooms, but she'd never been to an event, and she literally thought that, like, we just made all this up, and that when we went to conferences and retreats and things, we, like, I don't know, photoshopped everything or something.
That's kind of how I felt at
Right?
first, until I
What's
was
going
like,
on with you?
wait, I'm on the way. Like, I'm going to actually meet real people.
Yeah.
I did it because it was always, I mean, like, I always knew, I never really questioned that y'all were real people, but like, some of the things are just so mind blowing that you're like, how can that even happen? And then you get in front of these people face to face, and you're like, wow, like, you're just like I am. Like, I
You're
mean,
just
you
real
really are
people,
just like
right?
so it's
Yeah.
really cool. It's really cool.
That's awesome. Well, so what's like one takeaway you just like take away from the week and you wanna leave with us?
Honestly, like, one of the big hold on, chicken. One of the biggest things that really like stuck home with me was the lineage that we have as far as our team is considered, like our like big, like 20 levels down team is like, that was just amazing to me. But the phrase that stuck with me the most is the only difference between you and I, whether they have $1 million or have made almost $1 billion, like Mel and Blair have made almost $1 billion. Like, that's just crazy. It's time and activity. And so, like, I took away, like, just staying consistent and praying over my business, and it will happen.
Yes. That's so good. Awesome. I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm going to hop off and put this little one to bed, but thank you so much for having me.
You're good. We're trying to fit people in.
Bye-bye. All right, bye.
All right. We're going to pop over to Kelsey Erickson. You guys, I know she's got little ones too, hopefully, that are in bed already.
Yes, they are.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so tell everybody who you are and where you're from and how long you've been in the business.
Okay, so I'm Kelsey Erickson. I've been in the business since May, so like what, 5 months, 4 months? I don't know. I can't count. And I'm in Kentucky.
And this was, okay, so, well, I guess you have a little bit of a different, like, meeting people in person story, because right after you joined, I was actually taking a road trip to Florida, and
Yes.
I think it was like the week after you joined?
Yeah, I think so.
Joined, and I was like, I'm headed your way. So we like were able to meet up and like meet in
Yes.
person, which was
Yes.
totally random, but really great. But this was your first like event, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so tell us about that.
Okay, so first I didn't think I was going to make it because I have 3 kids at home, all under 5. So it was a lot of finagling to try to get there, and I had a lot of people telling me that I shouldn't go. But my husband made me go, and I'm glad he did. But one of the things that when I got there, I felt really intimidated because I know Noelle, I met her, but like Chad and Jeree, like I've kind of just saw them as like the kings and queens of the operation. It was like, do I even talk to them? Like I went in feeling like I'm just a Ruby, I'm a nobody, so I should just like hang back and watch. But that wasn't how it was. Everybody was so welcoming. It was actually like a little bit like, whoa, everybody's so friendly. Like they treat each other like family. And it was just so cool.
That's awesome. So what was one of your biggest takeaways or some lesson learned?
Or what?
Lesson learned.
A lesson learned?
Or anything you want to share.
Okay.
What does your husband think about you since you got home?
I don't know. Babe, what do you think of me since I got home?
I think you're crazy.
He thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I showed him Blair's video and he was like, I'm like all pumped and he's like, okay.
I'm happy for you.
I'm happy for you.
This is like my life every day. Like I literally went Presidential Diamond and got $100,000 bonus, like $100,000. And my husband goes, good job, babe. I was like, I feel like I need to bring in my girlfriends for reinforcement that like
Definitely.
I just earned $100,000 bonus because there's something wrong with your brain. Apparently, it's just their personality. So when you need to celebrate something, you don't call them. That's the moral of the story. Anyway, how was your weekend?
Weekend was great. Yeah, it was good. A lot of recovery because I didn't sleep, but it was good.
Yes.
So what was your 2 questions? I forgot.
What was just your biggest takeaway? What was your biggest aha from being there?
Well, I learned a lot about myself through it, just from listening to other people and letting them pour into me what they saw of me. Because I tend to be an introvert. I'm kind of shy. And I feel like I come across as that way, but a lot of people were like, no, like you're not like that. And just them pouring into me and telling me like I am capable of so much more than I think. Mm-hmm. And then I told Laurel this, one of her things that she got up and said was that at her first retreat, she just felt like, oh, I'm just a Ruby, I'm a nobody. And I was like, hey, that's what I feel like. But here she is making it work, and I don't even know what level she's at now.
She's a triple diamond.
Okay, so she's up there.
Yeah.
And it just really like struck a chord with me because that's how I was feeling. And it's like, but what they said again, time and activity, it was just so encouraging because I know I can get there. It might take me longer than others, but I can get there. And I don't know, it was kind of the wind in my sail to just help me keep going.
That's awesome. Well, good. I'm so glad you were there. I'm so glad you had a good time, even though you were totally scared. Like coming in, you were like, I don't know about this. So we're all
I
a little
didn't,
shaky,
but
and
I
think
feel
that's
like I
the
left a new
but
person.
yes. Well, good. Good. Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm
Noelle,
preparing. Yes.
no, Dakota and I and Kelsey found out never trust Google Maps on the way home from Tennessee.
Right. I heard you guys got lost. It's a new adventure, right? Okay, awesome. All right, we're gonna pop over to Stacy, who I hope still has light, if I can find her. Oh, yay. Hi.
Did it unmute?
You did. You're good. How are
Okay.
you?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so tell everyone about you and your story.
I have been in the business almost 5 years in October. I am Diamond. And yeah, that's pretty much. And oh my gosh, I'm in love with the retreat. Like the biggest thing that I can say, guys, is the retreats and showing up to events is life. And I say that because of it's kind of like going to church. If you don't surround yourself with people that have the like-minded that you have, it's so easily to be pulled in the direction that you don't want to go. But if you surround yourself with the people that are uplifting you and inspiring you and showing you that you can do it, you're going to be more apt to stay focused and to reach your goals. And the biggest takeaway that I took from the retreat is friendships. Because it's hard to, I mean, you can make friends on the internet, but once you get around people and you actually see that they're real and you actually see that they have problems just like you do, it's so much easier to connect and make those friendships. And it was, I mean, the friendships that I made, I honestly would never, ever take back. But those friendships would not have been possible if it wasn't for this business.
So can you tell everyone just a minute, like why, just why you may not have been able to make it to the retreat? And why you may not have been able to make it to my retreat in Tennessee last month?
During my journey, a lot has happened. I was, when I went diamond while my husband was fighting cancer. I got the invite to go to Tennessee, and I almost did not go to your retreat that we had at Chad and Jerry's because my husband was going through radiation. But I worked my butt off to earn that spot. And so my husband was like, oh no, you have got to go. You've got to go. And I almost didn't, guys. Like I literally about backed out because I didn't want to leave him to go through his radiation by himself. I got up every morning to go to radiation with him and be there with him. And so missing that one was really hard, but it was something I actually needed because once I got there and was surrounded by everybody, we prayed for everybody. Like it brings a lot into your life to actually have your friends put their hands on you and speak life into you and pray that God comes over you. And that really helped me when I went to the Tennessee retreat of yours a year and a half ago, because when I left there, guys, I went diamond. If it wouldn't have been for that retreat, I honestly don't think I would have went diamond. Because everything was coming up against me. My husband was fighting cancer. My marriage was on the brinks because of that. Because guys, let's face it, when you're going through that life-changing alteration, a lot of things come in people's mind is like, so there was a lot of friction and everything there. So when I came home from that conference, I ran like crap and became diamond. Don't know how it happened. It was God beneath my wings. And then this time, when it was time for the conference, the retreat, it almost didn't happen. I earned my spot. I got it. And I was supposed to leave Thursday at 6 a.m. to catch my flight. On Sunday, my aunt that was like a mom to me passed away. When they set up her funeral arrangements, it was set up for Thursday at 11 a.m. And I had a choice. I could either go to the retreat or I could miss her funeral. And I can tell you, missing her funeral was not an option for me. I can live with myself on missing a retreat, but I couldn't live with myself with missing her funeral. So with that, I literally tried everything, or I thought I tried everything. Like, I literally got on there, was looking to change my flight. To change a flight for later that day was going to cost me $450. And so I set my mind that, you know what, maybe I'll drive. And my husband's like, I don't think that's a good idea. If you're going to go to this funeral, you're already upset. You're fixing to drive 11 hours. And so thankful for friends, guys, because let me tell you, I sent Clara a message and I was like, this is what I'm faced with. I don't know what else to do. And she's like, let's get on the phone. So we got on the phone and she's like, well, what about Friday? Why can't you fly in Friday? And I honestly didn't think about Friday because I was thinking, well, if I fly in on Friday, I've already missed all of Thursday. Why even go? And so it was like, then I started thinking about it. Well, if I drove, I wouldn't be there till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning anyway. So it's going to be the same as flying. And the Lord blessed that, because once I got online and seen that I could transfer my ticket to that Friday, it was only $75 instead of $450. And so I didn't want to miss that retreat. So I was going to do everything in my power to be there. And I'm so thankful I did, because not only at the retreat, I met 50 people that I've never met before, that I've clicked with and that became friends. But then there was 5 of us that stayed afterwards, and we had the best time ever in Gatlinburg. And it was just an amazing experience.
I'm so jealous I didn't get to stay longer.
Oh my God.
So
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I can't even explain the bonding experience. And when we went over that bridge, I mean, we all experienced the first, and a lot of us encouraged each other, because I can tell you, I almost did not go over that bridge. That was the scariest thing in my life. But they were all there saying, you can do it, which made it so much easier. And just the friendships and the bonds we made are, I can't even speak enough about it, because being in this business for 5 years, I've experienced ranking up. I've experienced the financial part. I've experienced the freedom part, because I walked away from my job at the post office, but I never experienced the friendship. And I can tell you, this retreat, I experienced the friendships.
That's so
And
good.
so, yeah,
Thank
it's
you
such
so
a blessing.
Thank you so much for sharing. And on that note, we are going to hop over to Clara, who saved the day and was able to pick up Stacy from the airport. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Do it again. Do it again.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Everybody's waving at you. Everybody loves Clara. Hi, Clara. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so tell everybody who you are, where you're from, all the things it took for you to get to the retreat.
Okay. So lots are going on with me. So I didn't earn a spot. I earned it differently. I was chosen to go, which is a different kind of earning, because you have to actually get your leader's attention to do that. I have watched people go to this. I'm Clara. I'm a diamond. I'm from Puyallup, Washington. Sorry, I forgot that part. So you have to get their attention, right? And so I've been watching this retreat for years. I've been in this business for 6 years, and I was faced with a lot of, they're awesome, I'm not them. Like from day one, like the first day when I joined Noel, and I was like, I'm not them. I can't do what they can do. And I'm right, because I'm not them. I'm Clara, so I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to do them my way, but I was just convinced that I wasn't as good, and so at the beginning of this year, I made a decision. And it's funny, because I was listening to Chad and Jeree. It annoys Jeree when Chad says this, but I say it all the time, that there's suicide, which is the death of oneself, and then homicide, which is death of someone else, and then there's the decide of death of all other options. And that phrase is really, really stuck with me. And do not use that against me, Chad, because I know Chad's on here. Don't go telling Jeree. Anyway, so anyway, I just, at the beginning of this year, I was like, okay, I need to make a decision. You know what I mean? I need to decide what this is going to do for me. You're a jerk, Chad. So I have to make a decision of what I'm going to do and who I'm going to be. And if I want to be successful in this business, further than I am, because I went diamond, but you know, but then I just stopped there, and I was like, I had it in my head that like that was as far as I could go, and that it was an accident, you know, and that I didn't fully deserve that, you know. And so I've convinced myself of this for years, you know, and just being there and getting there based on what I accomplished, you know, like I I don't I don't think until this year, I don't think I ever even completed the steps to success. And then when they're like, and we're gonna change it, and now you have to get more loyals, I was like, there's no way. And then last month, I like was like one LC short of doing it twice. Like, what in the world, you know? And I've had months where I do a lot more loyals than I've ever done before. Like, it's just, you know, and simply because I decided I was going to do this. And when I decided, other people decided to notice what I was doing because they saw my name in their back office. Because I'll tell you what, like at the end of the day, like if they see your name in the back office all the time, they're gonna be like, wait, I haven't met this girl yet. Who is she? And it's just kind of how it works. You know, they have 30,000 people that have joined their team. Like, you know, it's gonna, they have to see your name to know who you are. I mean, that's just unfortunately kind of how it goes. But anyway, so the things I had to go through to get there. I have a sister who is 40 now, and she's pregnant, and she's having a baby on Friday. And there's a lot of issues with that. And with COVID and everything else, like we can't visit her in the hospital or anything like that. So, I mean, it's not even just COVID, like it's all the things. Like you can get anything. I have traveled, like if people have to get somewhere, they're getting on a plane. I have traveled with the flu and probably like gave everybody on the flu this horrific flu that I got in Mexico because I had to get home. I couldn't be stranded in Mexico, you know, like what am I going to do in Mexico while I'm, you know, sick? So, I mean, I could get anything. So like to go, I literally am like sitting outside and I have to sit in a bedroom until Friday. Like I can leave to go get my test tomorrow, but I literally have to stay in a bedroom because my husband can't get sick. My daughter can't get sick because I can't take away them being able to spend time with this baby who does have some medical issues. You know, we already know about them, and I can't risk them getting sick and not being able to see this baby. Like that's just, you know, this is my choice to go. You know, I can't take everyone down with me. So if I get the sniffles, if I get the flu, if I get anything, COVID, you know, whatever is going around, I can't be around this baby. So that's something I'm so grateful for because I was able to quit my job in 2015. I can work from my phone in my bedroom, hanging out there all by myself, and I didn't have to ask anybody for leave. I didn't have to get the time approved from work. Like there's nothing that like I've lost from that. So yeah, so that's what I went through to get there.
Well,
And the
I'm
decisions
so
I had to
proud
make.
of you. Like this is your year, and this is the year that you said either I'm quitting or I'm going to make this happen, and you're making it happen.
Well, and I decided I had to actually try. I couldn't just be like, well, let's see. Like I all in, like
Yep.
shit or get off the pot. You know, I mean, that's where I was at. I toned my language down a lot, but that was necessary. So like, but that's like where I was at. Like you need to either do this or not do this. And doing, you know, the half job I'd been putting in, you know, wasn't going to do it. So it was time to put it all in. And no matter where I end up from this, like I am like happy with what I'm doing. And I know I could be working harder. Like that's the crazy thing. Like I'm busting my butt, but I know I could work harder if I chose to and do more. So
you've got an entire week by yourself in your room. That's a good week in my book. Nobody bothers me, right?
Amen.
Like, I'm like, can I be sick more often? Because when I'm sick, I get so much done. Nobody bothers me. Right? Okay. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. It was so good to see you twice this summer, even though you live on the other side of the country.
That's
amazing.
one of the things like I absolutely love about this is that like, well, so, okay, a little background about me and Noelle. I met Noelle in a small group at Manna Church in North Carolina, and we were both military spouses.
Also the church Chad and Jeree came from.
Yes, but I didn't meet them then.
I didn't meet them
later.
either.
Yeah, so with the military, you meet a lot of people kind of in passing, and like we were part of a small group, and I thought she was awesome, but she moved away, and I knew she lived kind of by my family. But when people move away and you haven't known them all that long, you expect you're never going to see them again. Like it's just like they're like, yeah, visit me if you're in town. Well, you're never going to be in town, like unless you are. And I mean, with those relationships, like you can not see somebody for 20 years and show up at their house and they embrace you, but like you really do expect to not see anybody again. And now I see you at least once a year, if not multiple times a year. And you like, yeah, and you become like a dominant person in my life, you know. But I did want to say something I learned, because you didn't ask me that question from the thing. Just, I'll be quick though. One of the biggest things that I learned at this retreat is like that no matter what your rank is, like everybody is broken, and that's like, we use our brokenness to empower us. And if you allow your brokenness to bring you down, then that's a choice. And you have to decide, like, you know, I talked to, you know, presidential diamonds that had been broken and triple diamonds that had been broken, and we're broken in so many ways, you know, and just, you know, knowing that every single person in there is broken for some reason, but that they're still able to like push through anyway. I mean, we had, you know, Kristen was there and she was literally broken. Like her leg was broken, you know? So like, I mean, just, we're all broken. And so that's what I learned, is that you get to choose whether that lifts you up or brings you down.
That's so good. Thank you for sharing that. That's powerful. And I mean, just to piggyback off of that, I think that the difference between a distributor who's broken and an ambassador diamond who's broken is that the ambassador diamond has just put themselves back together that many more times. And that's literally the only difference. So, okay, you guys, we have a very special guest joining us. I don't know if you saw him hop on, but he is going to wrap up our Zoom for us. So we have Ambassador Diamond Chad Kneller, who put this whole shindig on that we've been talking about. So, hey, Chad.
Hey, Noelle, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic. So I wasn't able to get on and hear everyone share, but it was nice to hear Clara, and you know, I'm sure everyone else had great things to share too. And oh my gosh, this is our 8th year in the business. I think we've done 6 or 7 retreats. We've done 4 out in cabins in, you know, Eastern Tennessee. And I always say, I don't know how we're going to outdo the ones we've done before, but this one was awesome. And it's almost like cue the bear, right? And people are pulling up. The bear comes out of the bushes. You know, most people probably never seen a bear other than the zoo. And everyone's just like, oh my gosh, there's a bear here. You know, and it's funny because I always refer to Blair and Melody McFarland as Mama and Papa Bear. And the reason we call them that is because they for a lot of us, they teach us for the first time ever what unconditional love really looks like. And if you get nothing else out of this company, I want you to understand that there are some extremely amazing people here, and that this company is a safe place, right? And you know, you are where you are when you join this company, and our job as leaders really is to try and understand what story you're telling yourself every day and help you tweak it a little bit so that you tell yourself a story that's going to lead you to where you really want to go, right? Because everyone is wherever they are. You're all wherever you are right now, but in your mind you have this idea of where you could go. They're getting loud out there. You have this idea of where you want to go, and I would say where you could go, but you just need to tweak your story a little bit, right? And so some things to me are common sense. I heard a lot of these things from one of my mentors, Jim Rohn, and he says things like, to have what you've never had, you have to do what you've never done, right? Or if you want to be a top 5%er in anything, if you want to be a top 5% spouse, a top 5% parent, a top 5% money earner, a top 5% bestest of friends, right? Then you just have to do what 95% of the people aren't willing to do. And it's really not that hard. You know, only about 15% of the population even tries to outdo expectations, right? And only about 5% go the extra mile regularly. So if you just become an extra mile person, if you become a person that just commits and does what you say you're going to do. I love the definition of commitment that I heard one time. And it's commitment is doing what you said you would do long after the feeling you said it and has left you. How many of you have you ever felt like losing 20 pounds? Any of you? And then how much harder is it to actually follow through and lose the 20 pounds? It takes a few things, right? It takes some grit. It takes some commitment. It takes some discipline. It takes some dedication. You know, Hebrews 12:11. If that's, you know, one scripture that's been on my mind a lot lately, it's all about discipline. And that scripture says that that there is no pleasure in discipline, only pain, right? Discipline never seems pleasant, only painful. You guys would agree with that, right? Well, right there, most people are out. They're like, hey, this doesn't feel good. I'm not going to do it, right? And come on, let's be real, right? But those who commit to discipline, they end up having a harvest of peace and righteousness when you get trained by discipline. And what's crazy is when you commit to a discipline in one area of your life, it bleeds over into another area of your life, and it bleeds over into another area of your life. That's why we feel so good when we're like, man, I'm working out, I'm doing my business, I'm getting up early, I'm making my bed, I'm doing all the things. We feel good. At the end of the day, we're like, man, I did all the things. And those disciplines bleed over. But whenever we don't do them, when we wake up and we're like, forget the bed, forget my workout, forget going for a walk, I'll skip host to post today and double down tomorrow, right? At the end of the day, you kind of look in the mirror and you're like, I suck. How many of you ever looked at yourself and said, I suck, right? I think we all have. Well, here's what you do is you just put a string of days together where you feel like you don't suck. That's really the secret, and what we like to talk about is like 90-day runs, because there's something magical about 90 days. If you really do what you should do for 90 days in a row, and take Sundays off or whatever, if you have a different Sabbath day, 6 days work, 1 day rest, right? So 6 days work, 1 day rest consistently for 90 days can change your life. Like Dree and I's first big run, we went from $2,000 to over $40,000 in 101 days. And we went from diamond to presidential, and we've never, ever lost presidential ever. Right. And we've made $250,000 minimum every single year since that run, where we had never, ever made six figures in our life. Because here's what happens when you go all in for just a string, then you know what you're capable of. Then you can turn it on again. See, here's all of you need to set a goal to make $1 million, and not really for the $1 million, because of what it will make of you to earn $1 million. Because once you've earned $1 million and you've gained the knowledge and the confidence and the faith and the belief and the skills, and you've done all the things, you could give all the money away, because now you have the skill set. I mean, a lot of you have probably been scared out of your mind to do something, but once you do it once, you're like, oh, now that I've done it, I can do it 1,000,000 times. Once you've done steps to success, you're like, oh, I can do that again and again and again. And then maybe you go, you know what? Now I'm gonna do steps to success twice in 1 month. And you do it. And then you're like, oh, I can do that again. I mean, last year, I know we had a girl that did steps in 1 month 10 times. So in 1 month, she did steps more than probably 80% of people ever do in a whole year in 1 month. Now, you and I don't have to, I've never done steps to success 10 times in 1 month, and you and I don't have to, right? But just to understand what's possible helps lift our own lid. And so I think we did a lot of lid lifting at this retreat this last weekend. We had a lot of people that came in and were like, I'm just not sure. And they left being sure, right? Because they met some people that were just as much of a mess as them, just as broken as them. And, I say this all the time, but the only difference between anyone on here that's been in the business a day and anyone on here that's been in, 8 years like me, it's time and it's activity. I've just talked to a whole lot of people. Dree and I together, we've recruited, we were pretty consistently 10 a month for, the first 5-6 years. And now we do less. Now we probably do 2 or 3 a month, but it's just that consistency that will get you to where you want to go. So I'm just so excited. I mean, you guys are the ones. I mean, I know Noelle has thousands that have joined her team, and we have 23 on here right now. So you are the 23 that are really taking this a little more seriously than all the people that aren't on here. And so the first and most important thing is that you show up and that you do all the things and that you learn to lead yourself. Because when you lead yourself, then it's so much easier to lead everyone else, because you can say, let's go do this, instead of, hey, why don't you go do what I'm not willing to do? And you just kind of hope, like, I hope they're better than me. Just keep praying for those people that are better than you. That's very rare. It is possible occasionally, but most of the time you'll be the highest recruiter in your organization. You'll be the one that's running the fastest in your organization, because the speed of the pack is the speed of the leader. So you just have to decide what you want and decide that you're going to run for it, and that you're not going to look left, you're not going to look right, and you're just going to go for it. And this weekend was all about I see in you. Here's what I can tell you guys. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a little secret right now. This was the unfair advantage. Dree and I had an unfair advantage, because what a lot of people don't know is that in that 101 days, we had both made up our minds that I was going to transition out of the military. And I was an officer in the military. I was on my way I was making about $80,000 a year and getting ready to get promoted again. And I was going to go straight to $100,000 a year. Right. So here's the unfair advantage. We both decided that I was going to get out of the military because I wanted freedom. I wanted the time freedom and I wanted the financial freedom. And so the world didn't have a chance. This company didn't have a chance because we were all in. So here's what I would say. And I would bet on every single one of you here because first of all, you all showed up tonight. So here's the thing. Think about this. Let's just say tomorrow morning you wake up and your spouse, your children. So for some of you, maybe your dog. Maybe you only have a dog right now. You don't have a spouse or child yet. You've got a dog. If you don't have a dog, your favorite plant, I don't know, something you love, your mom, okay, your dad, whoever. Think about the person you love the most. You wake up tomorrow and they're gone. And there's just a little note. It says, the only way you're ever going to see your dog, your child, your spouse, your friend ever again is if you triple promote between now and September 30th. You'd be like, oh my gosh, 15 days. Well, here's what I'll tell you. I would bet a whole month's pay. I would bet $40,000 on every single one of you. Because you know why? Because I know that if the why is big enough, the how doesn't matter. Because if the why is big enough, you'll put people on the phone with Noelle all day long on three-way calls. You'll sign distributors every single day. If the why is big enough, you'll sign multiple customers and a distributor every single day the rest of this month. And so what this business, the secret to this business is knowing what you want and why you want it and getting super, super passionate about it. You know, I was sharing earlier today, and I'll leave you with this, my favorite quote in the whole entire world. Now you have to understand, I study quotes. Like I probably know more quotes than I know people's names. I know a ton of quotes, right? Paul J. Meyer was a self-made billionaire. And this quote to me has all the answers to everything. And all he said was that whatever, right? Whatever you ardently desire. Oh, I'm getting the words messed up. Let me pull it up here real quick.
Okay, Jerry's a little distracting. It's a Jerry's a little distracting. It's okay. She's singing her heart out.
Oh, I got it now. It came back. It just went boom, and it's back in. Whatever you vividly imagine. Okay, vividly means clarity, right? Whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire. Now, ardently means it's a stronger word than strongly. So whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon, right? That's the formula. Now, what happens if you do those four things? It must inevitably come to pass. Must inevitably come to pass. So when I was sitting there at conference, and I went home and I started my journal. Here's what I titled my journal. Now we were diamonds making $2,000 a month. And here's what I titled my journal. Journey to Ambassador and $50,000 a month in 18 months. That was a big, hairy dream. I wrote that and I was like, oh my gosh, am I nuts? Is that even possible? Journey to Ambassador, diamond to Ambassador, journey to Ambassador and $50,000 a month in 18 months. We did it in 15 months and we made $55,000 because vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically. Now, when I say enthusiastically acted upon, I lost my voice multiple times from being on so many calls throughout the day. Like, I'd be like a frog. Be like, at the end of the call, I'd be like, I can't do any more calls. You know, I'm going to be like 10 probably, so I didn't need to do any more that night anyway. But if you guys will just if you really just grasp and taste and smell and know what you want and why you want it, I promise you, you'll get there so much faster with this company than you will with any other way. I mean, there's all kinds of ways we can try. You can go get another degree and become a doctor, become a lawyer. You know, I mean, I guess you could go rob a bank or something. You might get money quick that way, but that's illegal. You go to jail. Then you have no freedom or maximum security, however you want to look at it. You know, some would say that's no freedom. Some would say maximum security. But anyway, I could go on all night. I just love you guys. Thanks for jumping on here. For all of you that were at the retreat, man, those are memories no one can ever take away from any of us. We'll be laughing and joking and talking about those for years and years to come. So just fight for what you love, fight for what you believe in, and fight for getting to the next retreat, because I promise it'll change your life. And we're already talking about doing something like January, February. So we're working on that, and you'll be hearing about that as we figure some details out. So there you go. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
All right. Love you guys.
Thank you, Tad. We appreciate you.
See y'all later.
All right, you guys. And with that, we are going to wrap up. But I will tell you that on the 24th at that event, the summer camp event, they're going to be announcing conference. And just like Chad gave you a little hint, we're already talking about putting something together for you guys. So it's possibly going to be somewhere south, and it's possibly going to be somewhere warm, and it's possibly going to be a lot of stinking fun. So you can just put that in your back pocket. And when we have the details, we will roll that out, and you guys can be just prepared for that. Okay? So thanks for hopping on, you guys. It was good to see your faces, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.